Hey up and welcome to the Indie Crew channel. I'm your host Ghost Waffles, and today we're going to be taking a look at a little hidden gem known as Super Crate Box. It was developed and published by Vlambeer. It's available for the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation Vita, PC and mobile devices, and it costs around £5 or $5 in the UK and US respectively, with it even being available for free on PC. With all that out of the way, let's get into the review. But just before I begin, I wanted to tell a funny little story. You see, I've known about this game for like a few years now, and I found out about it from a guy who did a review on it. And said guy also found out about it because some guy he watched did a review on it. It's like I'm repeating the cycle. I figured it'd just be a pretty funny story to bring up. Anyways, on to the actual game. Super Crate Box is a 2D run and gun platformer with an arcadey vibe. You'll be collecting various weapons to kill a variety of enemies with. The thing that I find most unique about this game is that instead of the enemies influencing the high score, it's actually the crates you collect. When collecting a crate, your high score increases. However, by doing this, you also have to change up what weapon you have, creating a really interesting gameplay loop. I've heard this game be referred to as a puzzle game before, and to be honest, I can't really say this is the case. I'd personally say it's more of a strategy game, as every move you make has to be planned out. Do you keep the same weapon for a period of time to wipe out waves of enemies? Or do you go collect another crate to add to your high score, but run the risk of being given a gun you're not so good at using? It's moments like this that keeps you on your feet, and truly makes the game stand out. I played this on the Nintendo Switch, and I found the controls to be pretty good. They're super simple, with the analog stick letting you move left and right, and the buttons on the right being used to jump and shoot. The only problem I had with the controls is that the top bumper buttons could also be used to jump and shoot, and sometimes I'd accidentally press down on them and do a jump I wasn't supposed to and die. It's nothing all that bad, but it was a tad annoying when I was going for a big high score. Throughout the game, you'll encounter 3 different types of enemies, ranging from these tiny green goblins to these big green goblins to these flying skulls. The tiny enemies usually take 1 hit to kill from most of the weapons, but are pretty fast and can come in threes. The big enemies take a lot more hits to kill and are pretty difficult to jump past, but they're pretty slow. And finally, the flying skulls target the player, and these were by far the most annoying enemy out of them all. But that's not because they're designed poorly, they were just pretty tricky to get past, especially when a group of them ganged up on me. You've also probably noticed the fiery pit at the bottom. When an enemy goes into said pit, they come back out red, angry, and much faster, adding to the chaotic gameplay. You could even say they came back with a fiery vengeance. Now, whilst you may think that these are very basic enemies, they definitely kept the game fun and engaging, and I felt that they all balanced the experience out pretty damn well. Now, as I've already mentioned, you can collect tons of weapons from the crates, and most of these are incredible and make the game really entertaining. These can range from simple pistols to dual pistols to mines to a katana to a bazooka to a laser gun. What I love about some of them too is how they have a drawback. For example, you have weapons like the disc gun that fires a circular disc that ricochets off of walls, and if a disc hits you, you'll be killed. There's also the shotgun that can only one-shot certain enemies if you get close to them. My favourite of the weapons was probably the revolver. It one-shots most enemies and is good for taking out large groups of them. My least favourite, however, was probably the grenade launcher, since, simply put, I just found it tricky to aim the thing. The game's very short and only has 3 stages, ranging from a construction yard to a rocket silo to a moon temple. Each of these levels were fun, and I loved how the difficulty was ramped up throughout each stage by simply changing the layouts of them. I also just love how unique the theming of these stages is. It's not every day in a video game you get to play in a rocket silo or a temple. The game also has 3 modes for each of its stages. These modes are normal, which is just the base game, SFMT, which is just the hard mode, and ambush, where instead of spawning from the ceiling, enemies will spawn in from everywhere. I personally just prefer to play normal mode, only occasionally playing SFMT to get some unlocks, but if you're looking for a decent challenge, I think both SFMT and ambush mode would be pretty suited towards you. The game also has multiplayer functionality in the form of battle mode. In battle mode, you pick a set amount of crates and then battle it out against a friend to see who can get the set amount of crates before the other. I played it with a friend and it was alright. I feel like if there was just multiplayer for the base game, it'd be way better, but I can't lie, this mode does create some chaotic yet funny moments. The art style in this game is amazing, and I think it manages to capture the arcadey vibe it's going for perfectly. The game is full of this bold, vibrant pixel art, and it really does add to its charm. The soundtrack here is absolutely stellar. It goes so hard for absolutely no reason, and I love it. Each track is able to get you pumped up and energized while still sounding super cool and adding to the game's arcade theming. In fact, here's 3 of my favourite songs. You can unlock several characters by getting different high scores in each of the levels and modes. None of these have any stats or abilities to make them unique, which was an unfortunate shame, but I will admit, they do look pretty cool. Like, who wouldn't want to play this game as a robot or a crocodile? I think the only negative thing I can really say about this is just that it's really addictive. Really addictive. I have this vivid memory where I started playing it around 5 and played it for what I thought was at least 5 minutes. And then I checked the time and realised it was 7. Trust me, if you play this game, you're gonna get addicted, constantly trying to beat your high score on each of the stages. And that's about it for my review of Super Crate Box. I'll be giving this game a score of 8 out of 10. Whilst it's very short and not exactly the best game ever, I think it provides a really fun experience with some difficult challenge and addictive gameplay. Plus, for only £5, I'd say this game is a complete bargain and totally worth your time. If you're still here, thanks for watching. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Tuki for the thumbnail art. You can find a link to their channel in the description. We also have a community Discord server with a ton of welcoming and friendly people, so be sure to join that if you're interested. Cheers for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.